Good morning from the Tahoe Rim Trail. So I officially started my Carson City to Canada quest yesterday, and it was really fun. I feel like the trails outside of Carson City are so nice and so well maintained and so nicely graded. So that was super nice. I did have a pretty hot day. Um, as you're closer to Carson City, it's more like the deserty part of the trail. So it was pretty warm, but I was climbing like all day yesterday to get up out of Carson City and back up into the mountains. And so by the time, or I would say by like mid-afternoon, I had gotten high enough where it had cooled down significantly. There was some cloud cover, so that was super nice. And got to hike on the Capital to Tahoe Trail, which is the entire reason that this contest, the Carson City to Canada Quest, was created. And it's a huge reason that I'm on the PCT this year. So, got to give a bunch of love to the Capital to Tahoe Trail. And it's also just a really nice trail. It was just completed in 2023. So, it's in really good shape. And it was a quiet day. I saw a few other hikers pretty early closer to town, and then I saw a few bikers throughout the day, but I mean, it was a weekday, so I'm sure everybody was at work while I was hiking, but just like used to being on the PCT, which is so busy, so it was really quiet and really nice to just, I don't know, it just felt really chill, like not passing people constantly or having people pass you constantly, and I could sit for a break and not have a million people pass me. So that was just lovely. Um, I actually hiked a pretty long day. I didn't start until about 9:30 at the Capitol building, but then I didn't get in my tent until like dark. It was getting dark as I was getting in my tent. So pretty long day. I actually don't know how many miles I did, but it was over 20. And my phone was dying by the time I got in my tent. My inReach had died, which I'm like, oh shoot, forgot to charge that. I don't use it that much, I'll use it to text Pickles from the wilderness, or, I was using it to text my brother to plan for when he was coming out to Carson City when I didn't have service. But I generally just do a tracking point for my family, like right before I go to bed. And that's it. But now that I'm doing the Carson City to Canada quest, I actually have to track myself hiking. So that's new and different for me. And I forgot to charge my inReach. So, yep, it died while I was hiking yesterday. So that died. Phone almost died. My power bank was like buried in my backpack. And I like didn't want to lose time like digging it out. I, so that was yesterday. Anyway, today I'll be fully hiking on the Tahoe Rim Trail. So I am hiking southbound on the Tahoe Rim Trail back towards South Lake Tahoe, where I got off the PCT to go to Carson City. If you're just hiking from Carson City to Canada, the quicker route would be the northern route, but it's not that much of a difference, a few miles. So Julianne, the other Carson City to Canada quest person, she's Wild Jules on social media. She's already out there. She's ahead of me, but she took the northern route. So, but again, it's really not a huge difference in terms of mileage. So, and I don't want to miss the Desolation Wilderness. Everyone talks so highly about it. So if I went the northern route, I would miss that part. And I don't want to miss that part. So, but anyway, so I'll be on the Tahoe Rim Trail today. And I'm curious to see how many hikers will be out here. So we'll see. Anyway, let's go. Sorry, I'm rambling this morning. P.S. One day back on trail, my eyes are so puffy already. Oh, I'm allergic to the outdoors. Ah, a Tahoe Rim Trail vista. I guess we must check it out. Okay, not that exciting, honestly. Odd. Update, there are a ton of people on this trail. Mostly day hikers. I've only seen one other person so far who looked like they might be doing like a TRT through hike. But yeah, tons of day hikers and some runners as well. I gotta take a detour here to Spooner Lake to get some water. Long water carry today. Seeing a bunch of these old beds of coals on this trail, kind of weird. I've got a half-mile walk down to the lake, then a half-mile back up, and then the trail goes up. So I was kind of debating. I was like, could I get away with not going and getting water here? But I was really thirsty yesterday. It's really dry out here. And I have about 2.5 liters of water. If I had 3, I'd be like, no, that's fine. But just the amount I was drinking yesterday, I'm like, I just don't feel like I should risk it because the next water, yeah, over 16 miles away. Aspens. This is the Spooner trailhead. Look how many cars. I gotta cross that street. Tons of bikers out here today. There's Lake Tahoe. Look at how blue that is. What the heck are all these caterpillars? I'm seeing them everywhere. There's so many. Lunch today is tofurkey and veggie wraps. It's really freaking windy up here. Another water cache, but it's empty again. Sad. Well, this came up unexpectedly. Houses. Must be getting close to Tahoe. Yep, there's town over there, not too far away. All right, first water in many miles. 16 point something. It's cold. Dinner tonight.